Thank you, ma'am.
Chase is going to be coming up, and I'll get this one back to you if you want the other here.
Okay, we're fine. You can just take that one. I've got the other one.
I'd like to call the Senate to order. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll.
Senator Barnett, Senator Barrett, Senator Blackman, Senator Blackwell, Senator Blunt, Senator Boyd, Senator Branning, Senator Bryan, Senator Butler to 36,
Here.
Senator Butler to 38, Senator Carter, Senator Kaufman, Senator Chadzenall, Senator Chisholm, Senator DeBar, Senator Delano, Senator England, Senator Fillingham, Senator Frazier, Senator Harkins, Senator Hickman, Senator Hill, Senator Hobson, Senator Horn, Senator Jackson, Senator Johnson, Senator Jordan, Senator Kirby, Senator McCon, Senator McDaniel, Senator McClendon, Senator McMahon, Senator Michelle, Senator Moran, Senator Norwood, Senator Parker, Senator Parks, Senator Pope, Senator Seymour, Senator Simmons of the 12th, Senator Simmons of the 13th, Senator Sojourner, Senator Sparks, Senator Suber, Senator Tate, Senator Thomas, Senator Thompson, Senator Turner Ford, Senator Whaley, Senator Wiggins, Senator Williams, Senator Younger. Mr. President, a quorum is present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Will the senators and guests in the gallery please rise for the invocation given by the Reverend Cornelius Johnson, who's the pastor of Waterloo Missionary Baptist Church in Lorman, Mississippi, and the guest of Senator Butler. The invocation will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Senator Butler. Reverend Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let us pray. O thou eternal God, out of whose absolute power and infinite intelligence the whole universe has come into being, we humbly and gratefully thank you for this title of servants of your people. We humbly confess that we go the first mile but dare not travel the second, that there are times we miss the mark, but thou, O God, have mercy upon us. Forgive us for what we could have been but failed to be. Dear Father, we thank you for everyone gathered here today. Thank you that you know each of them by name and have caused them to walk with you. All are forever dependent on you, and their trust is in you completely. As they convene and surrender themselves in adoration during the Synod meeting, we thank you for coming by way of your Holy Spirit. Ask you to inspire their hearts today. Fill their lives with your love. Fill their conversation with your grace and truth. Continue to fill this great Capitol and assembly with your presence. Bless them and their families. Give this Synod the intelligence to know your will. Give them the courage to do your will. Give them the devotion to love thy will. Then open their minds so that they may receive your eternal wisdom. Open their spirits so that they may know your leading and guidance. And open their hearts so they may receive your wonderful love. We ask all this in your glorious Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Johnson. Now to the reading of the journal. I recognize Senator Polk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate dispense with the reading of the journal.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the journal. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Committee reports. Messages and petitions, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. President, there are none.
Committee reports, Senator Polk.
Mr. President, I move the Senate dispense with the reading of the committee reports.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the committee reports. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next to the reading of the titles of the bills and resolutions, we recognize Senator Polk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate dispense with the reading of the titles of the bills and resolutions.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the titles of the bills and resolutions. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Now we'll move to introduction of guests. Senator Kirby, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a few introductions this morning. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Alex Hutchinson with State Hospital psychiatry resident, and Dr. Sarah Pierce. Also, if they would, that's two of our doctors of the day. If they would please stand and let their Senate make them welcome. Next, Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Harkins and myself, I'd like to welcome the Brandon Mayor's Youth Council. Mayor Butch Lee is with them from Brandon, and then also we have with them coordinators Carly Cook and Carly Keys. If they would all stand and please let their Senate make them welcome.
Thank you, Senator Kirby. Bright young mind. Senator Michelle, you're recognized for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor to welcome our Doctor of the Day to the Chamber. Dr. Stephen Hammock is with us today. He's in family medicine. He practices at St. Dominic Hospital. He's also the president-elect of the Association of Family Physicians. Again, he works at St. Dominic and he lives in Madison. Please help me in join me in helping me welcome him to our Senate chamber.
Thank you. Senator Barnett, you're recognized for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. To my colleagues here in the Senate, I would ask that we pay attention to throughout the gallery, and I would like to ask all of the students from William Carey University College of, let me make sure I pronounce this right,
Osteopathic.
Osteopathic
That's right.
medicine. And also Dean Dr. Sobero, if you will please stand and let us make them welcome to our Mississippi Scholarship.
Thank you for helping healthcare so much. Senator Horn, you're recognized for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President, and ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. I'd like to direct your attention to the north side of our chamber, where we have a gentleman who has held numerous positions in healthcare throughout his career, and he's currently in the incarnation of Executive Director of the Mississippi State Medical Association. Dr. Claude Brunson would like to ask that the Senate give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. Senator McMahon, you're recognized for introduction.
Mr. President, I would like to ask the Senate make welcome today. We have with us Dr. John Mitchell, who's president-elect of the Mississippi State Association. He's on the floor on the north side, and give him a warm Senate welcome. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell.
Rural health care, Dr. Mitchell, thank you very much. Senator Sparks, you're recognized for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like the Senate to make welcome from Prentiss County, Mississippi, my friend, Mr. Lynn Floyd, joining us today. Thank you.
Welcome, Lynn. We're glad to have you back. Used to work with us. Senator Harkins, you're recognized for an introduction. Pass. Senator Wiggins, you're recognized for introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I have an introduction. Dr. Amber Colville's here, and Dr. Kelleher from the coast. If you'd please stand, let us make you welcome. Oh, there you are. Good to see you. Thank you, Amber. Thank you for being here.
Senator Albert Butler, you're recognized for introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to, on behalf of Senator Calvin Butler and I would like to not only recognize the Reverend Johnson, but also his lovely daughter, who's also in the medical field, who attended with him today. And we would like the Senate to recognize them and give them a warm welcome and applause.
Thank you. Senator Polk, you're recognized for introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, I have two introductions. First, of these medical students that are here, the dean of the medical school at William Carey University is here on the floor with us, Dr. Italio Savararo. Welcome him, please. And then, as important as he is, I have a much more important introduction, and that is at the non-smokers table. My wife, Jan, is here visiting with us today. Jan, please, y'all help make the way.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Blunt, you're recognized for an introduction, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. In addition to the outstanding medical students from William Carey, we have a group of medical students here from the University of Mississippi Medical Center here in Jackson. They are seated in the gallery. I'd ask them to just wave at us. They're the future of Mississippi medicine, and we're glad to have them at the Capitol today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Senator Fraser, you're recognized for introduction, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like the Senator to make welcome Dr. Brian Persing, the President of Mississippi Oncology Society, and also Dr. John Jackson, President of Mississippi
Psychiatric Association. There you go.
Too early. Please make them welcome.
All right, welcome. Okay. Any other introductions? Seeing none, we'll move to the calendar. Chairman Harkins. Chairman Harkins passes items 1 through 10, retain their place on the calendar. Chairman Bryan passes. Number 11, retains his place on the calendar. Chairman Parker passes. Turning the page to page 2, is anyone, we'll pass by the entire page, is any chairman on page 2? Including Chairman Fillingane, passes. On page 3, between 25 and 35, any chairman? Okay, Chairman Fillingane? Okay, one moment, please. Chairman Carter, 36. Chairman Carter, will you yield for one moment? Chairman Fillingane, on an introduction out of order, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to request floor privileges for the Summerall High School Bobcat baseball team and Coach Andy Davis.
Mr. Sergeant, please bring him to the floor.
And Senator Polk, if you can come join us. Come on up here. Mr. President, may we proceed?
Please proceed, Senator Fillingane.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am delighted to have with us this morning in the State Senate Gallery on the floor, along with Senator Polk, whose grandson is a member of this team here, to recognize these young men and the coaching staff from Summerall High School, and I think the principal, Thomas, is here as well, and to congratulate them on their many accomplishments. I could go on a long time, but I will refrain from doing so. I will simply say if we could have the short title read by the clerk.
Mr. Clerk, please read the resolution.
Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 514, a concurrent resolution commending and congratulating the Summerall High School Bobcats baseball team and Coach Andy Davis for winning the MHSAA Class 4A State Championship, which is their 6th state title in school history. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the State of Mississippi, the House of Representatives concurring therein, that we do hereby commend and congratulate the Summerall High School Bobcats baseball team and Coach Andy Davis for winning the MHSAA Class 4A State Championship, which is their sixth state title in school history, and extend to the team, coaches, parents, and sponsors our best wishes for future success. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Coach Andy Davis and Summerall Principal Matt Thomas, forwarded to the Lamar County Board of Education, and be made available to the Capitol Press Corps.
Mr. President, I would just like to add a brief remark or two, and then I would like to yield the podium to Senator Polk to make a comment, and then finally Coach Davis. I will say that this team has a heritage of excellence, as you said in the short title. This, I believe, is the sixth time Summerall has won the state 4A championship. They beat an excellent Pontotoc High School team this year, and it was a very close game. As it turned out, I think it came from behind from 6-1 and then ended up winning fairly convincingly, but Pontotoc was very tough, and they have a record of 35-1 this year. So they've done excellent, but more impressive to me, and to I know their parents who are very proud of them and grandparents, this team average has a GPA average of 91.12. So these young men are not only very accomplished on the sports field, but they're as accomplished, if not more so, in the classroom. And I know that their future is very bright. As a proud alum of the Summerall High School, could not be more proud of all these young men and the coaching staff. And with that, I will recognize, with permission of the President, Senator Polk to say a word about his grandson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Fillingane. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to have my grandson, whom many of you have seen before because he has paged for us several times. Coach, I want to, this is him. Coach, I want to congratulate you. You run such a wonderful program, and you mean so much to these men that you are training. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Senator Polk. Coach Davis, you're recognized to address the Mississippi Senate.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Hoseman, to have us, Senator Polk, and Senator Fillingane for recognizing us. It's a great group of boys. It's easy to coach young men and boys who want to be coached and who want to be led. And obviously, we couldn't have the success we have without them, without their parents, our assistant coaches, our head principals here. It's a great community. Thank you for what you all have done for the state of Mississippi. The education and the facilities we have is top notch. And without you and without the state of Mississippi, it'd be hard to accomplish what we have accomplished. And I do appreciate that. And I appreciate again for letting us be here today. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations again, 6 times. Thank you very much. Tremendous program that you and your school, even more importantly, the education component. So thank you very much. Okay, Senator Carter, you're now recognized. We're moved back to the calendar on item 36. Who? Yep. Senator Hobson, for what purpose you seek
Mr. President,
recognition?
I thought this might be an appropriate time for an introduction out of order, if I may.
Please proceed, Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my pleasure to have again, who was here earlier this week, our former state medical president and good friend. I think this is National State White Coat Day for the doctors, so good to have Dr. Jerry Weiland back with us again. I'd ask the Senate to make her welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome back, Doctor. We appreciate you. All right. Senator Carter, we're on item 36, Senate. Senator Carter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call up item number 36, Senate Bill 2338, and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2338, Municipal Water Works, ensure just, reasonable, and transparent billing and.
Make the usual motion.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed, Senator Carter.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the committee sub in lieu of the original bill and be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain. Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill number 2338, an act to amend section 21277 Mississippi Code of 1972 to ensure just, reasonable, and transparent billing for municipal water, wastewater, and sewer services and for related purposes.
And be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain the committee substitute.
Okay, so what this bill does, it's municipal water is one of the few utilities that is not regulated by any kind of governing body. Your electricity is regulated by the PSC. It's metered, so you know what your actual usage is, and that's what you're billed upon. Right now, we have several municipalities out there that are doing base rates, pie in the sky numbers. So what this bill does is it makes all the municipalities bill their customers based off of volumetric usage, so actual usage of your water. And the only way to do that is through metering. They set rates on different classifications of users based on actual cost to operate and maintain the system. There could be no discrimination of rates among the classes of ratepayers. Courts have ruled that municipalities must charge rates based on actual cost to operate water systems already. And the rates must incorporate costs to maintain the system. And that's a basic explanation of the bill. I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Questions on the bill?
Mr. President, if there are no questions, do we have questions?
Well, we have questions. Just
Okay.
1 second. We had Mr. Harrison's interrupting the whole Senate. Senator Horn, you're recognized for what purpose, sir?
Question.
Will you yield for questions, Senator Carter?
Yes, Mr. President.
Please proceed, Senator Horn.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Carter, what if a water system in the state is under a conservatorship that is federally mandated, and that individual has the right and ability under a federal judge's order to establish not only the operations of a water treatment facility, but also the billing and collections in a particular city that's under the conservatorship? Would this legislation supersede any decisions that this person might make in terms of getting the system that's under the conservatorship back right?
So this question came up in committee. Basically, the person, you're referencing Jackson Water, obviously, and this is a third-party contractor or person that's in charge of coming up with a plan. They would have to follow state law. So once this becomes law, if it does become law, they would have to follow what is in this bill. So basically, the way that they would set the rates would be based off actual usage.
So if this person were to come up with an alternative means whereby water bills would be ascertained, and he puts that in place, and then we pass this law, we would have to bring the system that he may have put in place into conformity with this new law. Is that correct?
That's correct. So look, I've read up on what the news has been reporting about this particular situation. You know, sometimes you're a businessman. I'm a businessman. At the end of the day, this is kind of a common sense approach to the problem. You can't charge one person a water rate based off of just some random number, and then the next door neighbor another different rate. It's just not. That's not the way economics works. That's not the way business works. I can't operate my business by charging different commission rates to different residential customers. The only way to charge fair water rates is by actual usage of water.
Okay, and what if in this particular case, there is a metering system that is not in compliance, that is totally unreliable, that is only allowing for the collections of about 40% of the consumption that's going out there. Are there any allowances made for getting that system back in compliance first?
There's no appropriation or anything involved in this bill. This is basically setting guidelines for municipalities moving forward to prevent these type of issues. I mean, every year we've got municipalities come up to the state asking for money for water and sewer systems because they did not maintain them. They did not set their rates. They did not set their rates to maintain the system, upgrade the system. And some of these municipalities' rates have been stagnant over years. So the costs have gone up to produce water. I mean, you've got to stay on top of those different things. That's why we have a lot of municipalities out there that have water troubles. I've got a municipality in my district that has issues.
Okay, what are the consequences if a system is not in compliance once this law goes into effect?
The consequences? They're breaking state law.
Do they have to pay a fine, or do they lose the ability to manage their water system, or what?
Is Caleb over there? I don't recall having a fine in here. Yeah, there's no fines in here.
Caleb.
And what if a conservator who has over 40 years of experience in these matters was able to come up with some other fair yet alternative system of collecting on water than strictly consumption?
I just disagree with his position. I mean, like I said, this is a common sense approach, in my opinion. The only way that you can give someone a water bill is knowing how much they use. And if the municipality didn't maintain their metering systems, then they're going to have to figure out a way to fix it.
Well, couldn't you do it according to square footage?
Square footage of the home?
Of the structure, whether it's a home or a commercial
I don't know how you do that.
operation.
So how do you distinguish a car wash from a residential house? I mean, a car wash is obviously going to consume a whole lot more water than a home.
Yeah, well, I would think that you could make arrangements for commercial businesses to distinguish between them and residential businesses.
But you're kind of justifying my argument. There's no way to the only way to be fair and give someone a water bill is based off of consumption, actual usage. There's just no other way.
Okay, and is there a grace period that's being allowed for municipalities that are not in compliance with this methodology?
No, but there is not. But there was a 30-day. There's a 30-day as far as collection goes on a water bill. But no, there's no grace period.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Horn. Senator Seymour, for what purpose do you seek recognition, sir?
Question, Mr.
Are
President.
you for a question, Senator Carter?
I do.
Senator Seymour, you're recognized for a question.
Senator Carter, does this in any way affect the law that's already on the books as far as not allowing a municipality to transfer these funds from their waterworks into the general fund?
That has nothing. This law has nothing to do with that. All this does is basically we're addressing how you bill people for water.
Just the billing side.
I mean, and MML has approved this. They're behind this. I mean, this is not. I mean, it's considered an unlawful donation whenever you don't charge a fair rate for water. If you're not charging what the actual cost of the water, it's an unlawful donation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Seymour. Senator England, for what purpose you seek recognition, sir?
A question, Mr.
For
President.
you for a question, Senator Carter?
I do.
Senator England, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Chairman Carter. Can you tell me if there's any other water system in the country that uses, that you're aware of? Is there any other water system in the country that uses a property-based rate system?
I have never heard of such of a thing.
Okay, so pretty much everyone uses usage when it comes to this resource and this utility. Is that correct?
Every successful municipality that manages their water system properly uses a metering system.
Okay, so passage of this bill, would this keep us in line with that current trend that literally every other water utility in the country is using?
Well, and look, it goes a little step further. Like I said, some of the problems that we're having in the state are people have just not maintained, they're not upgrading their systems. So this bill requires them to incorporate the cost of upgrades in the way that they bill. And sometimes it's not popular to raise water rates. It's not politically popular for some people in municipalities, but it's the right thing to do. If that's what it costs, it's what it costs.
Thank you, Senator Carter. If we do not stop, would you agree with me that if we do not prevent utilities from using property value in determining what rates users pay, are we at the risk of losing, are municipalities that do that, are they at risk of losing residents that will perhaps move to another state or another utility area where they don't have to worry about their property value and can strictly focus on usage like everyone else in the country is doing?
I would tell you this, if I lived in a sizable home and it was just me and my spouse and I wasn't consuming much water and I'm getting $1,000 water bill every month, I would seriously consider moving outside that city's jurisdiction.
I certainly would as well. Thank you, Senator Carter. I support this bill.
Thank you, Senator England. Senator Blunt, for what purpose you seek recognition, sir?
Speak on the bill at the proper time.
Speak on the bill at the proper time. Thank you, Senator Blunt. If you'll come to the front, Senators, because I think we're through with questions. Senator Turner Ford, for what purpose, ma'am?
I have a question.
Will you for a question, Senator Carter?
I will.
Please proceed, Senator Ford.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is there a particular state agency that manages the rates that municipalities are charging for their water usage?
No, all the municipalities are on their own.
So which agency would have the authority to determine if municipalities are complying with the law if this is passed?
I mean, if they violate state law, then I would think that it would open them up to civil lawsuits. Ratepayers could sue the city for billing, overbilling, or those various different things. But there's not going to be a state agency that oversees it.
So we're creating a situation where these various number of residents of a particular municipality can then sue the city?
If they're overcharging them for water or not accurately charging them for water, it's violating state law.
And so how would we know if the charge that's being assessed is accurate or not?
Well, they're supposed to, the municipality authorities are supposed to provide the minutes showing what the actual costs are to operate and maintain, and it's supposed to be a transparent process. So any ratepayer will be able to look at that. This is all about transparency.
I understand, and I guess, so is there anything that's factored into the legislation if, for instance, there is some sort of breach or malfunction in a system that maybe the municipality has not had the opportunity to remedy? Is that addressed at all in the bill?
It is not.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Senator. Senator Butler, for what purpose do you seek recognition, sir?
Question, Mr. President.
Will you for a question, Senator Carter?
Go ahead.
Please proceed, Senator Butler.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Carter. Kind of in line with Senator Ford, but again, when you first started talking about the bill, you was talking about making sure everybody paid the same rate for water, correct? And then you said just a minute ago that if you had a house and you got $1,000 water bill, so what rates are being different? I kind of was following you, but you kind of threw me off when you said you may have $1,000 bill and Help me understand what you just said.
That was a response to Senator England's question about basing the rates off of property value versus actual usage.
Okay,
That's
so
what that number
so you're saying that right now they are basing rates off property value?
That's what the proposal is currently in the city of Jackson. Now, I don't know what these other municipalities are doing. Let me be clear, this is not a city of Jackson bill. This is not. It's for all municipalities throughout the state.
Again, I'm just trying to understand, Senator Carter. So right now you're saying the city of Jackson is trying to base the rate of water off the property value?
Correct.
And you saying that this will not let it do that?
No.
All right, so we are just talking about City of Jackson then?
No, I mean, yeah, in that instance,
okay.
we are. But this bill was written because there's other municipalities out there that are not charging, they'll charge the cost to operate, but they're not charging the cost to keep the system up to date. So that's where you have these problems where these meters are bad. I think Senator Horn said that only 40% of the meters are working. It's because they didn't charge to upgrade the system. They didn't maintain their system. This bill requires municipalities to maintain their systems to where these municipalities aren't steadily coming to us asking us for appropriation to fix a problem that we didn't create.
Thank you, Senator Carter. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackman, you're recognized for what purpose? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, your light's on, Senator. You're next up.
I don't know if I want to answer her question.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have an amendment at the proper time.
Okay. Please proceed to the front with the amendment. Thank you. Senator Jordan, for what purpose do you seek recognition?
I have a question, Mr. President.
Will you yield for a question, Senator
Yes,
Carter?
I do.
Please proceed.
Senator Carter, does this require municipalities throughout the state to upgrade their system, their meters and whatever is necessary to get the correct reading of the bill?
If their meters are working properly right now, it does not. Now, if they're not working properly, then yes, they're going to have to
This bill does require them to make them work properly?
Correct.
Okay. That's for any municipality?
Any municipality in the state.
Okay. Clarification. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, Senator Simmons, for what purpose you seek recognition, sir?
Question, Mr. President.
Will you yield for a question, Mr. Carter?
I will.
Please proceed, Senator Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Chairman Carter, for yielding. Do you know what MML's position is regarding this proposed legislation since it affects all municipalities in the state?
They support the legislation. We've worked with them in MML on this bill.
Yeah. Would you be surprised to know that I spoke to the executive director this morning who said they oppose this legislation?
Well, they did an overnight switch on me because they were for this legislation yesterday.
Okay. Thank you.
You sure you didn't count them into switching their position?
No, I did not, Mr. Chairman. No, I did not.
I know
Thank
you can be a little sneaky there, Mr. Senator.
Okay, other questions? Other questions? All right, Senator Carter, we're on the amendment, so your motion would, we're on the committee substitute, so your motion will be on the committee substitute, sir.
I think you have an amendment on the desk.
We'll address amendment after, the committee
All right.
substitute.
I mean, we adopt the committee sub.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Committee substitute is adopted. We're waiting on Senator Blackman for the amendment, and Senator Blunt will speak on the final passage. Senator Johnson, for what purpose?
An introduction out of order if we're waiting on
Will you wait for just a
Yes,
moment
sir.
till we finish this bill, sir? And just remind me, we'll come back. Senator Blackman, on your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since we're dealing with municipalities and water, sewer, we also have rural water associations. And my amendment is simply saying that this bill will apply to the rural water associations, and I think Ian conformed the language to the title. And that's simply all the amendment does.
One moment. Mr. Clerk, would you read the amendment because it's in handwriting? I want everyone, all the senators to be aware. Please, would you read it?
Insert on line 3 before the semicolon and rural water associations. Further amend to conform.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, questions on the amendment? Questions on the amendment? Senator McCon, you recognized for what purpose, sir?
I'm sorry, Mr. President,
Senator
I was on the
Sparks.
side.
Senator Sparks, you recognized for what purpose, sir?
A question.
Will you yield for a question, Senator Blackman?
I yield.
You recognize Senator Sparks.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator. Are rural water associations governed under a different set of rules than municipalities?
I'm sure that they are, but rural water associations deal with water, sewer, stormwater, and we're talking about transparency. And I do believe that our staff attorneys make certain that this could apply in this bill.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sparks. Other questions for Senator Blackman? Other questions?
I move adoption of the amendment.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Chair's in doubt. Please call the roll.
Senator Barnett. Senator Barrett. Senator Blackman. Senator Blackwell. Senator Blunt. Senator Bowie. Senator Branning. Senator Bryan. Senator Butler to 36. Senator Butler to 38. Senator Carter.
No.
Senator Kaufman. Senator Chazanall. Senator Chisholm. Senator DeBar. Senator Delano. Senator England. Senator Fillingane. Senator Frazier. Senator Harkins. Senator Hickman. Senator Hill. Senator Hobson. Senator Horn. Senator Jackson. Senator Johnson. Senator Jordan. Senator Kirby. Senator McCon. Senator McDaniel. Senator McClendon. Senator McMahon. Senator Michelle. Senator Moran. Senator Norwood. Senator Parker. Senator Parks. Senator Polk. Senator Seymour. Senator Simmons of the 12th. Senator Simmons of the 13th. Senator Sojourner. Senator Sparks. Senator Suber. Senator Tate. Senator Thomas. Senator Thompson. Senator Turner Ford. Senator Whaley. Senator Wiggins. Senator Williams. Senator Younger. Voting yes or yay? Okay.
Got a second call?
Senator Bryan. Senator Butler to 38. Senator Hickman. Senator Sojourner. Senator Wiggins.
We recognize Senator Johnson for an introduction out of order while we're calculating.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you would point your attention to the South Gallery, one of my constituents and friends, Dr. Wes Aldred, is visiting from Hattiesburg. Please help make him welcome.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, are you ready?
Yes.
Please read the roll.
Voting yes or yay: Senator Barnett, Senator Blackman, Senator Blunt, Senator Butler, 38, Senator Frazier, Senator Horn, Senator Jackson, Senator Jordan, Senator Michelle, Senator Norwood, Senator Parker, Senator Parks, Senator Simmons of the 12th, Senator Simmons of the 13th, Senator Thomas, and Senator Turner Ford. Voting no or nay: Senator Barrett, Senator Blackwell, Senator Boyd, Senator Branning, Senator Butler, the 36th, Senator Carter, Senator Kaufman, Senator Chazanall, Senator Chisholm, Senator DeBar, Senator Delano, Senator England, Senator Fillingane, Senator Harkins, Senator Hill, Senator Hobson, Senator Johnson, Senator Kirby, Senator McCon, Senator McDaniel, Senator McClendon, Senator McMahon, Senator Moran, Senator Polk, Senator Seymour, Senator Sojourner, Senator Sparks, Senator Suber, Senator Tate, Senator Thompson, Senator Whaley, Senator Wiggins, Senator Williams, and Senator Younger. Voting present: Senator Hickman.
The amendment fails. 16 yeas, 34 nays. We're back on the bill. Senator Barnett, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Question, Mr. President.
Well, we're the period we've adopted the committee substitute. We're ready to come to Senator Blunt's going to speak. Thank you, though. Senator, we're speaking on the bill. Senator Blunt requests to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. I'm doing my best to keep up with all the bills in the House and the Senate that affect the area that I represent, that are introduced by people who don't represent the area where I live, and none of whom have come to talk to me about the bills they're filing about the area that I represent. It's a lot to keep up with. I was aware of this bill and the intention behind it, which is to send out water bills based on how much water people use. And I don't have a problem with that. I represent the town of Byram, who gets their water from the city of Jackson, and there are residents of the city of Byram who have been charged an unfair water rate for years. It is not based on usage. And I've introduced legislation to try to change that for the folks I represent in Byram. But again, in trying to keep up with this, it's just about more than I can do. And I think if I was going to introduce a bill that affected the area you represent, I'd come see you about it and come talk to you about it. And I think if that had happened with this bill, I think you could see something that all of us who represent the area at which this bill is aimed could be supportive. Again, I know I can for my folks in Byram. But I come up here today specifically about the committee sub and to make the point that if you're willing to talk to people, you can end up with a better bill and maybe actually reach some consensus. The bill that we're about to vote on is a committee sub, and it is different than the bill that was introduced that I read. And again, that I supported. But how is this going to work? Beginning on line 40, this is new in the committee sub, wasn't in the bill that was introduced. It says, essentially, we got a municipality that can't figure out what the water bills are. This is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to establish a billing method based on the billing average over the 6 months preceding. How are you going to do that when you don't know what the water bills are? I know the four of us who live in the city and another senator who represents part of the city hear from people all the time. I didn't get a water bill. My water bill is not correct. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And yet what this legislation does is somehow set up a billing method based on the municipal billing average over the 6 months immediately preceding the emergency declaration, and use that calculation for up to 6 months. After such time, the municipality shall revert back to billing based solely on volumetric usage. What does that mean, and how is that going to work? What I would do if I had a language that was aimed at one municipality is I'd call the guy who's running the water system and ask him, how do we do this? You've got this challenge. You've worked in water systems for 40 years. You're not answerable to a single politician. You've got the money you need. We want to help you. We know you've got problems with billing. How should we do this? None of that happened. None of that happened. Again, this is an issue that we could figure out. But none of us are talked to. I'd call the person who runs the water system. We are in a very different place in the city of Jackson than we were this time last year. We have a capable and competent administrator with a 40-year track record and all the money he needs, thanks to the federal government and some of the help that's provided to municipalities all across the state. And what we ought to do, in my opinion, is let the man do his job. We don't need to change the way we assess rates. That was in the news. I appreciate that was in the news, and Senator Carter saw it in the news. I did too. And I would say to the third-party administrator running the water system that we don't need to change rates right now. We need to do as best we can do to get this billing under control, to get the meters under control, and we need to establish credibility with the people who rely on that water system and with all of you. We don't need to make changes to rates to do something that hadn't been done in most places in the country. We don't need to make changes in governance either when we're under federal court order. We need to give this man time to do his job and establish credibility with the people that he serves and with all of you. And then if we need to talk about billing changes, if we need to talk about governance changes, whatever we need to talk about, hopefully we'll be in a better place next year than we are today, because we're in a better place today than we were last year. But the main thing that I think I would ask for, and probably all of us who represent this area would ask for, as we consider these bills introduced by people who don't live here, is come talk to us. Talk to the people who are elected to represent the area and who are elected to represent the city and who are charged with the responsibility of regulating and running a water system. And look, we may disagree on things, and that's fine, but give us that basic respect. And I believe on an issue like this, we could actually come to some sort of an agreement. If you talk to the person who's in there every single day dealing with water meters and dealing with billing and trying to fix it, and say, what do you need? We believe billing should be based on usage, but what do you need? How can we help you? That's not happening. It needs to start happening, and it needs to happen on all the other bills that have been introduced on both sides, that we'll probably continue to have this discussion on a variety of different topics as this session progresses. So thank you very much, Mr. President. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Blunt. Senator Carter.
We keep on hearing Jackson, Jackson, Jackson. I have $100 million problem in my district because the rates were not set correctly. So we can sit here and say Jackson all we want. What I'm trying to do is make billing rates fair, make sure that they maintain their systems and they are charging enough to make sure that they're incurring future costs. It's very simple. All municipalities. Now, if your municipality is running their water system right, then guess what? No changes. I mean, nobody's getting penalized here. We're just trying to make people do the right thing. I think that's what we were all elected to do. Is come up here and make sure that people are doing the right thing. I personally am sick and tired of watching CapEx funds go to water and sewer projects. We'll be using that money on a lot of different things throughout the state that really need our help. I would hope that you would support this bill, and I may pass it on the morning roll call.
Use of the morning roll call has been requested. Anyone object to the procedure? We have an objection to the procedure. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Barnett. Senator Barrett. Senator Blackman. Senator Blackwell. Senator Blunt. Senator Boyd. Senator Branning. Senator Bryan. Senator Butler for 36. Senator Butler for 38. Senator Carter. Senator Kaufman. Senator Chassenhall. Senator Chisholm. Senator DeVar. Senator Delano. Senator England. Senator Fillingane. Senator Frazier. Senator Harkins. Senator Hickman. Senator Hill. Senator Hobson. Senator Horn. Senator Jackson. Senator Johnson. Senator Jordan. Senator Kirby. Senator McCon. Senator McDaniel. Senator McClendon. Senator McMahon. Senator Michelle. Senator Moran. Senator Norwood. Senator Parker. Senator Parks. Senator Polk. Senator Seymour. Senator Simmons of the 12th. Senator Simmons of the 13th. Senator Sojourner. Senator Sparks. Senator Suber. Senator Tate. Senator Thomas. Senator Thompson. Senator Turner Ford. Senator Whaley. Senator Wiggins. Senator Williams. Senator Younger. Senator Barnett. Senator Barrett. Senator Blunt. Senator Bryan. Senator Butler to 38. Senator DeVar. Senator Hickman. Senator Parker. Voting yes or yay. Senator Barrett. Senator Blackwell. Senator Boyd. Senator Branning. Senator Butler to 36. Senator Carter. Senator Kaufman. Senator Chassenhall. Senator Chisholm. Senator DeVar. Senator Delano. Senator England. Senator Fillingane. Senator Harkins. Senator Hill. Senator Hobson. Senator Johnson. Senator Kirby. Senator McCon. Senator McDaniel. Senator McClendon. Senator McMahon. Senator Michelle, Senator Moran, Senator Parks, Senator Polk, Senator Seymour, Senator Sojourner, Senator Sparks, Senator Suber, Senator Tate, Senator Thompson, Senator Whaley, Senator Wiggins, Senator Williams, and Senator Younger. Voting no or nay, Senator Barnett, Senator Blackman, Senator Blunt, Senator Butler for 38, Senator Frazier, Senator Hickman, Senator Horn, Senator Jackson, Senator Jordan, Senator Norwood, Senator Simmons of the 12th, Senator Simmons of the 13th, Senator Thomas, and Senator Turner Ford. Voting present, Senator Parker.
The bill passes 36 yeas, 13 noes. You have it reversed on here, Mr. Clerk. There you go. All right, Senator England. Pass. Senator Harkins. For what purpose, sir?
Introduction.
Please proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will please help me welcome back Dr. Jennifer Bryan, past chair of the State Medical Association, is in the gallery, the West Gallery, visiting us today. Please make her welcome.
Thank you. Senator Michelle, for what purpose, sir?
Introduction, please.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Up there, I don't know if he's sitting with Senator Bryan, but our president of the Mississippi State Medical Association, Dr. John Cross, is here with us today. Would you please stand so we can welcome you to the Senate?
Senator Delano.
Introduction, Mr.
Please
President.
proceed, Senator.
I hope she's still up there, but Nancy Montz from Memorial Hospital in Gulfport is here visiting the Capitol today. I'd like to ask my colleagues to make her feel welcome.
Thank you. Senator Kaufman, for what purpose you seek recognition, sir?
Introduction, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
In the West Gallery, I have a good friend of mine from Simpson County, Dr. Chip Holbrook, is here with us today. Dr. Chip, if you'll stand, and if we'll just make him welcome. Thank you.
Senator Blunt, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to hold item number 36, Senate Bill number 2338, on a motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider, Mr. Clerk. Okay, back on the calendar, we go to page 4. Page 4. Senator Browning passes. Page 5. Senator Browning passes. Chairman Bryan. Senator Bryan passes. All items retain their place on the calendar. Senator Simmons, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. President. Introduction out of order.
Please proceed.
I would like to welcome in the gallery, we have Teen Health Mississippi Youth Council. The State Senate, would you all please welcome them. Thank you.
Senator Seymour, for what purpose you seek recognition, sir? Pass. Okay. Having completed the calendar announcements, we're recognized for announcements. Senator Johnson, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two announcements. The first one is that Finance will meet at 1:30 in room 216.
1:30.
And for those who have pages here today, we will have page pictures immediately upon recess.
Senator Seymour, for what purpose, sir? Announcement?
For an announcement.
Please proceed.
Today in room 210 at 11:30, Veteran and Military Affairs will have their meeting. Senator Delano, Barnett, Chazanal, DeBar, McMahon, and Turner Ford.
Thank you. Senator Jordan for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Drug policy will meet immediately after we finish here in room 210.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Simmons for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Municipalities will meet tomorrow morning at 8:30 in room 409.
Thank you, Senator Wiggins for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Judiciary A will have its standing meeting today at 3 p.m. in room 216.
Senator Barnett for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to announce that corrections will have a meeting today in 210 at 1:30.
Senator England for an announcement.
2:30, I'm sorry.
2:30. Thank you, Senator. That's 2:30, Mr. Clerk. Senator England for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. At 2:45 today, just over in room 313, the Judd A subcommittee will be taking up one bill. That's the Criminal Procedure Subcommittee. That's Senator Parker, Barnett, Barrett, and Simmons are the 12. That's 2:45, 313. Thank you.
Senator McMahon, you're recognized for announcement.
Mr. President, I would bring to my colleagues' attention, we put a notice on your desk today that there is a local and private drafting deadline of March 10th. So just be aware that's a drafting deadline to give our amazing staff the opportunity to complete all of the local and privates before the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Parks for an
Thank you, Mr. President. Adjourn in memory at the appropriate time.
It's appropriate. Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, I'd like for us to remember Mrs. Betty Wyndham. It was her and her husband that began the first Monday Trade Day in Ripley, Mississippi. If you would, let's remember that, her today. And also, that is Zoe Massengill's grandmother. So let's all be in a prayer for her and her family during this time.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. Personal law, Senator Younger for an announcement, sir.
Today at lunchtime, we're all invited down at the farmer's market for smoked barbecue chicken.
Thank you, Senator Younger. Senator Blackwell for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Medicaid will meet at 11:10 today in room 409.
11:10, Mr. Clerk. Senator Polk for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. The AET committee will meet this afternoon at 4:30 in room 409.
4:30, 409. Senator Turner for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public property will meet this afternoon at 4 o'clock in room 210.
Senator Delano for an announcement.
Appropriations Subcommittee 5 will meet at 1:15 in room 409. We'll have a hearing with the Mississippi Military Department, Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks, Agriculture, and Veterans Affairs.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Branning for an announcement.
Got two announcements, please, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
I'd want to go ahead and get on the schedule for Monday at 3 o'clock for Highways and Transportation. That'll be our final meeting before the deadline. That's Monday at 3 o'clock in room 216. And then I have an adjourn in memory, please.
Please proceed.
When we adjourn today, I'd like to do so in memory of former Alderman and Mayor Pro Tem of Walnut Grove, Mr. Jerry Darby, who served about 6 terms there in the town of Walnut Grove. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Moran for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ports and Marines Committee today. At 3:30, we're going to have a meeting. I have one bill to bring up, time-sensitive bill, so I need you all to pop in. Let's take care of this, and we'll be done with it at 3:30 today in room 409.
409, Mr. Clerk. Senator Hobson, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Appropriations Committee will meet 5 minutes after recess in room 216.
5 minutes after recess in 216. Okay. Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Senator Seymour.
A request, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
On today's calendar, line item 36, Senate Bill 2338, I would ask to be added as co-author.
Unanimous consent is requested. Seeing no objection, it is granted. Anyone else? Okay. Senator Tate, for what purpose, sir?
Announcement.
Please proceed.
Just a reminder that we will have an elections meeting today at 2 p.m. in room 210.
Thank you, Senator. Any others? All right, Mr. Clerk, please read the committee meetings.
The drug policy will meet upon recess today, room 210. Appropriations will meet 5 minutes after recess in room 216 today. Medicaid will meet at 11:10 a.m. in room 409. Veterans and Military Affairs will meet at 11:30 a.m. in room 210. Appropriations Subcommittee number 5 will meet at 1:15 p.m. today, room 409. Elections Committee will meet at 2 p.m. today in room 210. Judiciary A Subcommittee will meet today, room 313 at 2:45 p.m. Finance will meet at 1:30 p.m. today, room 216. Elections, okay, we got elections. Corrections will meet 2:30 p.m. today, room 210. Judiciary Division A will meet 3 p.m. in room 216. Public Property will meet today 4 p.m. in room 210. Judiciary Division A Civil Law and Procedure will meet at 4 p.m. today in room 216. The Accountability, Efficiency, Transparency will meet 4:30 p.m. today in room 409. Ports and Marines will meet today 3:30 p.m. in room 409.
Thank you very much. Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. If everyone would pay attention, this is a little different than usual. Mr. President, I move that the Senate stand in recess until the last committee report is filed tonight, or this afternoon maybe if we're lucky. And then the journal will reflect that we are adjourned until 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Thank you, Senator Polk. Senator Polk moves the Senate stand in recess until the last committee report is filed today, at which time journal will reflect the Senate stands adjourned until 9 a.m. in the morning. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.